So why do I say that Disneyland's Tiana's Bayou Adventure is going to open on October 4th? Am I secretly Bob Iger's third cousin once removed? I wish. Remember when your 4th grade teacher said you'll use math in real life? Well, she was talking about Disney, and we're going to use it to predict the future. First off, this calculation is only possible because we know Disney World's closing time and opening time for Splash Mountain and Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Without that data, you would need a professional, experienced theme park engineer to be able to tell you this information and to give you kind of an accurate guess. So how does knowing about Disney World help us with Disneyland? It's quite simple. Let me write this out for you. Okay, right? So if we have the start date, so this is closure of Splash Mountain, okay? And a closure to open. So closure of Splash Mountain and opening to Tiana's Bayou Adventure, right? And how much time that is going to give us the construction time. It's going to give us construction time, right? It's a math problem. It's a very straightforward math problem. Well, we know that at Disney World, it closed on January 23rd, and that's in 2023. So last year. I missed the Y there. I missed the Y in January. Okay, that's the close, okay? And then the open happened this year on June 28th, 2024. Okay, so we got those 2 dates here. How many days from January 23, January 23, 2023 to June 28th, 2024. And that's actually going to give us 522 days. That's 522 days. I didn't do that in my head. I used a calculator. You know, your teacher said are you going to have a calculator in real life? Yes. Yes, you will. I could have done it by hand, but I'm not. So that's a construction time. This is equal to the construction time to convert Splash Mountain to Tiana's Bayou Adventure, at least for Disney World. So we can apply that to Disneyland, right? We know that Disneyland closed on May 31st, 2023. So Disneyland closed Splash Mountain 4 months later than Disney World, right? But so if we add 522 days of construction time, right? This is construct. You know, we get what's the end date? Well, that gives us an opening date for Tiana's Bayou Adventure of November 3rd. 2024, this year. Okay. I know what you're saying. Like November 3rd, October 4th, that's a little bit off. That's a vastly different amount of days. Well, the reason why it's not going to be the exact same is because the ride at Disney World and the ride at Disneyland, they're two different rides. They're not very different, but they're different rides. The Disney World version has side-by-side seating, for example, right? So you have one person next to another person. That's their logs. Their logs have side-by-side seating. While Disneyland Splash Mountain is only single-file seating. So as a result, you know, you're going to have a slightly different course. It might be wider. I don't quite know the specifications, but that will make a difference. Additionally, I believe that the course at Disney World is slightly longer than the one at Disneyland, right? So because of that, you're going to see differences in ride construction, and that's going to make a difference in how long it takes to do the ride construction itself. Here's the other reason why it might also change the construction time. Disney World's closed 4 months early. So that means that any lessons that the Disney company learned, the engineers learned from converting the ride over, they can apply to Disneyland before it becomes a problem. Let's just use an example here. This is not actually, you know, I don't know if this is true or not, right? But this is an example. Let's just say that during construction, Disney crews discovered that they need 60 kilograms of cement. 60 kilograms of cement, and they only had 50 kilograms of cement. So they're 10 kilograms short, right? They're short a certain number of cement. They can't do anything. They can't proceed with their construction until they get a delivery of 10 more kilograms, right? And that's going to delay things, right? It might delay things a few days, a week. I don't know how easy it is to get cement. Well, that's not going to be a problem at Disneyland, because now that they already know what the problem was at Disney World, it'd be like, okay, so when we get to step 27, make sure that we have 60 kilograms of cement, right? They're already going to have that problem solved. They're already going to have the cement in place for Disneyland's construction, and they're going to not have any delays. So Disneyland may benefit from Disney World. Disney World, in some ways, I'm sorry, Disney World fans, in some ways is the beta test for Disneyland, because Disneyland is coming out later. It's sort of the same reason why, your parents might have experimented on the firstborn child and learning how to raise them. And when the secondborn comes around, they know exactly what to do, right? They've done this before. I should know. I was a firstborn child myself. So how do you calculate, knowledge into a solid number to figure out when the next date is? Well, you really can't. But we do have another data point that we can use to predict when Disneyland's Tiana's Bayou Adventure will open, and it's much more recent. It's much more recent than, the construction time, and that's because tests need to be done. Engineers need to run all sorts of tests to ensure that the ride is safe, right? Nobody wants an unsafe ride. You don't want it, I don't want it, Disney doesn't want it, nobody wants anybody to die on this ride. So they have to do testing, and some of these tests are going to be private tests, some of these tests are going to run at night, but some of these tests are going to be public. And one of the public tests that we've seen them do at both Disney World and at Disneyland is log flume testing. And log flume testing that I'm specifically referring to is when they send those logs, those vehicles, empty vehicles, down that big hill, down that big incline. You know what I'm talking about, where everyone just usually screams. It's very visible to park, and you can just see those logs come down. And we know when that log flume testing began at both parks. On February 13th, that's when log flume, Disney World log flumes, okay? Log flumes testing, okay? Okay? And of course, we already know that on June 28th, it opened, okay? So how many more days is that? Well, that's 136 days. 136. So let's apply that to Disneyland. Now, Disneyland, the earliest date I could find for log flume testing at Disneyland was May 16th. Now, I'd be maybe off by a day or two, but it's not going to affect our calculation too much. So I hope you bear with me. So let's say May 16th plus 136 days equals what? What date do we get? Do we get October 4th? No, we get September 29th. There's a reason why it's not September 29th. It's October 4th. And the reason is that Disney, we need to take into account the day of the week. Disney loves opening rides on Thursday or Friday, okay? Runaway Railway. Runaway Railway, it opened on January 27, 23. That's a Friday, okay? Spider-Man, Web Slingers, that opened on June 4, 21. That's a Friday. Rise of Resistance, okay. That opened on a Thursday, and even Galaxy's Edge, that opened on a Friday at Disneyland and a Thursday at Disney World. So you can see here, that there is a lot of, Friday, Thursday kind of bias here at Disneyland. Well, what is the first Thursday and the first Friday after that 136 day, after 79? Well, the first Friday after September 29th is, and you guys are going to know what this is, October 3rd and October 4th. October 3rd, October 4th. So that's, the 3rd is the Thursday, right? And Thursday, and this one is the Friday. We can actually narrow that down even further, though, because they can't do October 3rd. It is Halloween season. And at Disneyland, that means that Oogie Boogie Bash events are run on Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. So I could be wrong. I don't think Disney is going to open Splash Mountain officially on the same day it's doing Oogie Boogie Bash, right? I don't think they're going to try and schedule two major events on the same day. So we could just go ahead and eliminate October 3rd. We just say that's gone. And that leaves us with October 4th. October 4th, Friday, 2024, Tiana's Bayou Adventure will open at Disneyland. By the way, the average high for that day is a nice and warm 80 degrees Fahrenheit. If it was 80 degrees Celsius, we'd all die. So it's 80 degrees Fahrenheit. And that's, I believe, warm enough for you and me to ride down the mountain once again. Our teachers would be so proud.